parliamentary standing committee since the law panel initiated the consultation process on the Common Civil Code, the tone and tenor was predictable. Most opposition parties seemed to be hedging their bets, questioning the government's intent and, most importantly, the timing of the UCC push. The core content was not something that remained contentious. Here is what exclusive sources are telling Times Now about what happened in the meeting. Most opposition members, including those from the Congress and the DMK, linked the push for UCC to the next Lok Sabha election. BSP, Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray and the BRS did not oppose the reform in principle, but they also expressed reservation about the timing. But the most antagonistic responses came from those who were not in the meeting.
No, in principle, I think every Indian citizen should agree with the UCC. A uniform civil code, which comes from the perspective of justice and equality in everyone's personal laws, should be codified. And this is coming even from the Supreme Court and High Court, because they say that there's a lot of times there's misinterpretation of law, misreading of their laws, and becomes difficult to give justice, especially to the marginalized community, especially to the women, whether it's inheritance laws, adoption laws, whether it's marriage laws, divorce laws. So it becomes important to bring that to the surface and ensure justice and equality irrespective of gender, irrespective of caste, irrespective of your religion. However, we do not have a draft in place. We do not know what the Prime Minister has been speaking from political rallies. We don't know why they're politicizing it. If they were looking at it from the perspective of justice and equality, we would have seen a draft in place.
अब देश के प्रधानमंत्री एक घर में दो कानून, कैसे प्रधानमंत्री हर रियासत का स्टेट का सीआरपीसी अलग है? आपको पता है? नहीं मालूम मुझे क्या वजह है? क्योंकि भारत के प्रधानमंत्री देश के प्लुरलिज्म और सेकुलरिज्म से वो नहीं मानते। भारत के प्रधानमंत्री ये देश एक है और एक रहेगा, मगर इस देश में बसने वाले 130 करोड़ जनता, हजारों तहजीबें, हजारों मजहब को मानने वाली। तो यूसीसी के नाम पर देश के प्रधानमंत्री एक हिंदुत्व सिविल कोड लाना चाहते हैं।
पहले मुझे ये समझाएंगे कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड किस कानून में ये यूनिफॉर्मिटी लाना चाहते हैं? हाँ, हमारे पास ऑलरेडी यूनिफॉर्म क्रिमिनल कोड है और वो बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, क्योंकि बिल्किस बानो के रेपिस्ट को छोड़ दिया गया और हमारी जो पहलवान बच्ची हैं उनका रेपिस्ट खुला घूम रहा है। टमाटर जो है 25 रुपए से 100 रुपए किलो आपको भी मिलता है, मुझे भी वही मिलता है। नौकरियां ना हिंदुओं को मिल रही है ना मुसलमान। दैट इज द यूनिफॉर्मिटी जो इस कंट्री में इस वक्त। अब कौन सी यूनिफॉर्मिटी लाना चाहते हैं वो मुझे बताइए।
So has the issue of the UCC put several parties on the spot, especially on the issue of secularism, because the BJP has pitched it as an issue of equality and women's rights. Arif Muhammad Khan has spoken about how it is enshrined in the directive principles in our constitution, and then on the other hand is the perceived blowback. Qamar Zaman Chaudhary of the Congress joins us along with Vishnu Jain, lawyer. I want to start with you, Vishnu Jain. Do you think that it's politics which is holding back implementation of the UCC, and especially for the Congress, it's a very sticky issue, almost a harking back to the Shah Bano moment?
See, Padmaja, the fact of the matter is that the matter is pending before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court time and again has asked the central government to clarify its stand so far as Uniform Civil Code is concerned. The last order passed by the Supreme Court was on 8th of January 2022, and the Supreme Court was continuously asking the central government to file their affidavit so far as their stand is concerned. Now let me come to the other aspect. The other aspect is that the constitutional framers of our constitution have specifically brought Article 44 in our constitution, where the word shall is used, that the state government or the central government shall bring a law to implement Uniform Civil Code. And they have also introduced Article 31C, which says that if any law is brought for implementing Uniform Civil Code or any of the provisions of the directive principles of state policy, the same will not be invalid on the ground of Article 14 and Article 19. Article 31C was introduced. So, Padmaja, I am asking a very serious question today on your show. Whether female genital mutilation, is it valid or not? The UNICEF, the WHO has said it's the most heinous practice which is practiced in this country. Whether halala, whether iddat, whether it is valid or not, whether these are not part, and let me tell you, these are not part essential religious practices. These are kuritis. of a particular religion, and that's what Uniform Civil Code is looking at. I must ask another question, very pertinent question. We all know that there is uniformity in penal laws, so far as penal laws are concerned.
Okay, let's take this one by one.
I'm telling you examples.
Okay, let's take this one by one. We'll come to the second point in just a bit. Answer this, Qamar Zaman Chaudhary. Most of the parties now, whether it is the BRS, the Aam Aadmi Party, the Shiv Sena, they have come around. Even the BSP has come around and said, yes, this is not about religion. It is about giving equal rights to women. What is holding back the Congress? Is it an unease about the elections?
Now, Padmaja, you need to understand the hypocrisy of the Bharatiya Janata Party out here. When they speak about giving justice to the women of our country, why are they not supporting the one-third reservation bill of the women in legislatures? We have got laws which are banned child marriages, but still then 1.5 million girls are married underage every year in India. When you
Sir,
speak
the
of
child
all
marriage
those
that you're
social
talking
evils,
about
that my
also
dear
happens
friend,
because of the personal law. Because as opposed to other religions, in Muslim personal law, a girl is married off when she hits puberty, which could also be when she's 10 or 13. So exactly my point, if you're so concerned about little girls getting married off, what is stopping the Congress from taking a principled view? You have a great principled view, that it's about the rights of little girls. Why aren't you backing the UCC?
I will just ask you, Padmaja, just give me 2 minutes, please. Let me explain to you with an incident from the history. We had got the greatest social reformer of India, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. What he did, he banned polygamy. He tried to ban polygamy. He tried to ban sati. He tried to ban he tried to introduce widow remarriages. All these things were brought about by a social reform in the society. The society reformed itself. Now the question that you are debating tonight is
that is actually not true.
Evils that you are speaking
society
about,
did not reform, sir. A law was brought in.
No, let me finish.
It's not as if
by the legislation.
It was brought in by legislation.
No, 1829 there was no legislation.
The Abolition Act 1987, Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, Widow Remarriage Act 1856, and it was further continued by the Indian Parliament. Then Hindu Succession Act 1956, Hindu Marriage Act 1955.
Wait.
All these were brought in by legislations.
I'm telling you, Vishnuji, you are ready. You will read out the entire constitution out here. The question that I wanted to ask you, you have read about the halala, you have read about polygamy, you have read about genital mutilation. Now my question to you is, Mr. Vishnu Som, you have banned or
Vishnu
you have
Jain.
rather criminalized triple talaq also. Can you please cite me the instances? Can you cite me the number of instances that India is facing or because of this problem?
Okay, again we are shifting goalposts. No, sir. I want to stick to the topic. Hold on a second. You know, we will keep. So this is what happens whenever you try and ask people in the Congress party or the Samajwadi Party or the RJD. That way, at least the IMIM is very clear. They say, don't interfere in our religion. Stay out of it. The Congress doesn't even say that. The Congress will also be like, "Aap tribals ka kya karoge? What will you do about the Anand Karaj law? What are you going to do about, the Hindu women? What about the Hindu undivided?" No. You say, do you support the UCC or not? And if not, then why not? Simple. Answer that.
Can I reply?
Yes, please
Can I reply to that?
Yes.
Padmaja, it's not the question of bringing the UCC out here to rectify the societal problems that India is facing right now. I just want an answer from the ecosystem that what are the instances, how many cases have been recorded in India of practicing halala?
Again, you are not answering the question.
Child marriages.
I had a fairly simple question to ask to you because in the last 1 week, and including today, in the meeting of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, Zeba Yasmeen, the question was very simple. Are you in principle supporting UCC or not? And what were the concerns raised? Some were valid concerns about what will be done in, say, tribal societies. In Meghalaya, the BJP is being opposed by its ally, for example. The Akali Dal is against the effect it will have on Sikh society, etc. Those are valid concerns. What was the concern of the Samajwadi Party and the Congress? Why are you doing it around elections? Why? In principle, I will still ask you again, let's assume that the BJP brings it in 2025. Will you support it then? Why just the BJP? Let's assume that the Congress comes in power and brings it in 2025. Will you support UCC in principle? Yes or no?
Padmaja, when it is mentioned in Constitution that we shall follow UCC, तो इसमें कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है कि कोई फॉलो करेगा ही नहीं. यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन आता है कि हम अपना समर्थन कैसे दे दें until unless we know what is UCC, what is in a way कि ड्राफ्ट अभी तैयार नहीं है. आप क्या क्या, it is not a small topic Padmaja, it is a vast topic. ट्राइबल्स का क्या होगा, विमेन को आप इक्वालिटी कैसे दे पाओगे, छोटी छोटी जातियां हैं उसका क्या करोगे. देयर आर ample number of points which we need to discuss before giving our consent. यही तो मेरा भी सवाल है कि जो पार्टियां आगे बढ़ के समर्थन दे रही हैं वो किस चीज को समर्थन दे रही हैं जब ड्राफ्ट नहीं तैयार है. ये तो वही हो गया ना कि आप मुझसे कबूल है बुलवा लीजिए और दूल्हे की शक्ल बाद में दिखाइए. तो ऐसे नहीं होता है. Until unless we are clear with the draft, everybody agrees, how can we give our consent? Simple. Whether it is Congress
to that, Vishnu Jain.
after 2024 bringing UCC or BJP.
See Padmaja, this entire debate today is that what should be in the draft, and that's what we are debating upon, and that's what my endeavor is, to throw a light as to on what areas we are looking uniformity. Now let me give you an example. A minor girl was raped in Kerala, and when the accused was booked under the POSCO Act, and a plea was taken that no, in our religion we can marry a girl below the age of 18 years, so POSCO Act is not attracted. Let me tell you Padmaja, 3 high courts have taken a divergent view. The Karnataka High Court, the Punjab High Court and the Delhi High Court, saying that the POSCO Act does not apply to Muslims. Now can you see, it's so shocking. The most heinous offense like POSCO is not applicable to a particular section of the society. The basic principle, and I want to put it in perspective, the basic principle of criminal law is that it has to be uniform across the country. Section 494 is not applicable to Muslims. The POSCO Act is not applicable to Muslims. The Child Marriage Act is not applicable to Muslims. So then halala is going on, iddat is going on, female genital mutilation is going on. So my question is that penal law has to be uniform, so bring them within the ambit of penal law.
If there is any
and
confusion,
for that you have to rectify their personal laws.
If there are any confusion, Zeba Yasmin, then all you have to do is refer to the draft Uttarakhand law. They have actually got very explicit recommendations, and we've put it out there. The fact that you've got a uniform age of marriage, same divorce laws across religions, the abolition of halala and iddat, the increase in the age of marriage, that can be the touchstone for you to make up your mind whether you stand in favor of the UCC or not. Now see this, Qamar Zaman Chaudhary, in principle even the Samajwadi Party has come around. Again I ask you, what's stopping the Congress?
No, the Congress is very much decided on the UCC. You bring out the draft, we'll study it and decide our future course of action. But my question here, as a practicing Muslim, as a citizen of this country, to the ecosystem, आपने बोल दिया कि हलाला हो रहा है, कमन इसको बैन करना चाहिए, आई एग्री. आप बताइए कितना केस आपने रिकॉर्ड किया इंडिया में, कितना पॉलीगमी केसेस रिकॉर्ड किया. झूठो फैलवाइए मत कि मुसलमान का समाज में ये गंदगी है, नहीं है. आज के डेट में द सोसाइटी हैज रिफॉर्म. You do not need such laws to criminalize the Muslims only. That is my objection. You have criminalized triple talaq without releasing any
because
data.
like you yourself said, the crime does not exist in the society, in Muslim society. Then how are Muslims being criminalized? You cannot criminalize somebody who is not committing the crime according to your own logic.
Where is the data? Wait.
When there is no crime, then how will you be criminalized? Anyhow, the idea was to just put out there the fact that usually it is not any concern for rights or, you know, where is the draft. It is more political concerns that hold people back. But is that really ethical? Think about it. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Zeba Yasmin for joining me. That's it then from me on this edition of India Upfront.